welcome to this very special edition of the Pace Report, reporting live at Madison Square Park here in New York City for the first Nomad Jazz Festival. Highlighting this year's festival is a vocalist who hails from Latvia, but she's done some incredible and intense things in the music industry. Arta Jēkabsone not only infuses American roots music, but she takes her native Latvian roots and writes some dynamic compositions, as well as written some songs that are very unique and interesting. In fact, a lot of her music is based on nature. Tonight here at the Nomad Jazz Festival, you're going to see highlights of her performing music on her current record. Also, we sit down and talk about Orchestra Riga, which she takes classical music as well as spoken word and vocal, as well as we sit down and talk about the Jazz Gallery Commission music that she was written, as well as we reflect on some of her influences, as well as some of her mentors, including the great Kurt Rosenwinkel. So sit back, relax, and enjoy highlights of Miss Arta Jēkabsone live at this year's Nomad Jazz Festival here in the heart of Madison Square Park, here in New York City. You're on the Pace Report.
Rise above the trees. The dust from flower plus enters my eyes, and I keep on walking to see the day on the rise, and I keep on walking to fill my mind with ease. Then suddenly I reached the peak of my life, and the fog fades away and brings clear blue sky. If you ask me where I'm headed, meet me at the time of my bloom and rise. If you ask me where I'm headed, meet me at the time of my bloom and rise. If you ask me where I'm headed, meet me at the time of my bloom and rise.
lot of music. And for a jazz festival, you bringing harp, strings, quartet. You've composed this, you arranged this, you wrote all of this. How did this all come about?
Well, this journey started back in 2021 when I've been a part of the jazz gallery, like doing shows there, and then Rio Sakuri, who's the artistic director of the gallery, she basically awarded me with this commission. And for a whole year in 2021 to 2022, I was an artist in residence, and they gave me a space and also financial aid to compose music and do whatever I want. And so I decided that I wanted to compose music for this specific ensemble, like these instruments, like harp, because I've never composed anything for harp. I wanted to learn about it. For alto saxophone, for strings, for flute, for the jazz quintet. And it started back in 2021, just composing all of this and getting it ready.
I mean, you're wearing a lot of shoes, band leader, you're doing this. Now, writing for an orchestra is completely different than writing for a quartet or quintet or trio. How did you have to add the whole orchestra? Because I understand that you started off playing violin.
That was my first instrument, yes. Yeah.
How did this come about?
So I grew up in Kandava, and basically I'm from Latvia, and I've been at that moment when I was growing up, I was always singing. My mom was singing folkloric music to me, and then I entered the music school, and I had to choose an instrument to play, and I picked violin, and then I just started to play it. I always loved it. My teachers, everybody thought that I would be going further, continuing the education in violin, doing that making that as my specialty. But then I decided that I want to do voice because that was something that I've always felt kind of closer. It's one of my closest heart instruments. Violin is still also a heart instrument, but voice is something that I feel that it's just me. It's just who I am. And then I started to learn violin, piano, and then later on in the high school where I studied jazz music, then I had to learn drums and bass to kind of understand the functions of other instruments. And it kind of led me naturally to the composition and learning about instruments, learning about the orchestration, instrumentation. I think it's always I have a curious mind. If there's something that I don't know, I just want to learn and be able to understand where something works.
I saw a very interesting video of you when you were 8 years old singing. So voice has always been your calling. How did you connect this music called jazz to growing up because your background is folk music? How do we connect all this together?
Yeah, so that was interesting. So yeah, I grew up learning folkloric music, and then I sang Latvian pop music, which is it's a popular contemporary music. And then later on, once I was studying classical violin, and then I had to make a choice, study something in high school, I decided it's going to be jazz because I went to a bunch of different workshops. The first workshop that I saw in Latvia was Gerald Clayton with his trio.
Wow.
Actually, I have a story about that. So that was kind of my first getting inside of jazz. I love that there's something improvised, that there's the music is being created in the spot. And I've always been drawn to that. And then it kind of naturally led me to this, studying jazz music, learning what is this creature. And then later on I came to New York at a new school, studied there, and I got the full scholarship. And I came here to kind of pursue that career as a jazz musician. But while I was at the school, I realized that as much as I love the music, and it's always going to be it's always going to be my language, I wanted to find something that is more me. How can I find that my little angle?
Right.
And it was definitely through folkloric music, because I've been arranging a lot of folkloric songs in a twist of jazz. And I love singing standards, I love arranging them, and I just love finding colors and making something that's more me. Yeah. Get into that. Yeah.
I want to touch on something that you brought. You studied at the New School, and I've interviewed two of these guys. I mean, Reggie Workman and Billy Harper are no slouches. These guys are still with us.
Yes.
They're still producing and playing and teaching. What was it about those two gentlemen, and what did they? And also Janet Lawson. Janet, I mean, you were around a lot of our stalwarts, a lot of our guys that are architects of this music. What was it like learning from these guys?
I mean, all the three of them, I have like the most like fond memories of being at that time at the new school, and I had Reggie Workman for my John Coltrane ensemble. Yeah, that was my first ensemble, and I mean, like, he literally has played with him, and it was so beautiful to see how in the lessons he was like, John would do this, John would, and it's like, I'm like sitting in that lesson, it's just like he, like Reggie already, like, he's been so close, he's like one of his friends, and like playing together, and that wise energy, and that like emotionality, like the way how he is, it was just, I learned a lot just like from him as a human being, and he also was one of the first people at the new school who encouraged me to write my own lyrics in English and in Latvia, just like experiment, because I was a little bit afraid. Like English is also not my first language, and I felt like a little bit like timid, like what can I do? And he literally gave me, you should do it. You gotta do it. You have to like find a John Coltrane song and write lyrics. And I remember like I took two songs, the wise ones, and I think also that actually wasn't like John Coltrane's song, but Aisha, like McCoy Tyner, and I wrote to these both songs. And he was really encouraging all of us. That's something that I have kept from him, but going everywhere with curiosity and encouragement, just like doing it. I wanted to say about Janet Lawson, there's actually an interesting story. Like really, so she has Lithuanian roots, not Latvian, but Lithuanian roots. I think it's her grandfather was there in Latvia, in Lithuania. But during the 90s, she came to Latvia for this jazz camp. I wasn't still born, but she was kind of like one of the first jazz vocal performers who came to Latvia and did like workshops. My vocal teacher in high school took those workshops and studied with her, and they became super close friends. And over the years, they were like writing letters to each other. And then when I entered the new school and was going for audition, my teacher Inga Beziņa, she's an amazing Latvian jazz vocalist, and she reached out to Janet, and Janet was like, "You need to give Arta like a spot, like so she can like do her audition," because they offered me like a time later that I wouldn't be able to travel twice. So they gave me an extra room like for this audition. I did it then, and since then I was like in touch with, like I was studying with Janet, like I took her ensemble classes, and she would always, I want to go to Latvia, like she really loved the Latvian culture, so that was kind of the story.
Wow.
Yeah, it's so interesting, like who would think, and I actually have from these workshops that she did, like with my drum teacher and another music teacher, Janet had given me my own artwork, and now it's in my house in Latvia. Yeah, it's like, yeah, she was like a family to a lot of my jazz musicians in Latvia. This was something different. When she came to Latvia, it's like, wow, like music is different. Like, you want to learn that, you want to be a part of that. She's made a huge influence on a lot of people in Latvia.
understanding some of your influences are very interesting. But Kurt Rosenwinkel, who I've profiled and interviewed here on the Bass Report, he is a mentor to you.
He is, yes.
Tell me about your relationship with Kurt.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. So first of all, I learned about his music in high school. So while I was like studying in high school, I was studying like traditional jazz, and then we also got a chance to like explore more like modern contemporary jazz music. And Kurt was one of the references that like all of us we were listening to. Aaron Parks to Kurt Rosenwinkel, like he just. Like that music for me at that time, it opened up for me to the fact like, oh, you can compose differently. The form doesn't have to be A-A-B-A. It can be also A-A-B-C-D-A. And for me, that kind of gave this like, oh, there's more doors, like more room for experimenting. And so that I remember like what Kurt kind of gave me. And fast forward, I was doing the Montreux Jazz Vocal Competition back in 2016, and I won this competition. And then a year later, me and the other like people who had won the competition, or like placed second or third, we went to this Montreux Jazz Academy where we had mentors, and Kurt was one of those mentors in this workshop. And like we spent a week together and playing music, like, talking about music. And then after this workshop, I came back to New York, and he came with the a.k.a. band, like this album he was making for 10 years. And he asked me to kind of help him with the vocals, like vocal training. And I kind of was on a little tour with them, like doing the vocal coaching for them. But we've stayed in touch, and it's just been, like since then it's just been beautiful to have him around as a person who's just like, like given me and showed me ways of how to compose music.
You're a big fan of the masters, Chick Corea, Ella Fitzgerald. When you came to New York City, what was the cultural adjustment and also the musical adjustment that you had to deal with in acclimating, becoming a New Yorker?
Honestly, it's like this is the interesting thing. From one side, I feel like I'm in New York because it's gonna be 10 years that I'm here, which is crazy, like how fast the time has flown. But I still feel like a little Latvian mouse. Because I grew up in a countryside. Like I grew up in a countryside. Like I had river, woods, like trees, like little pathways, and I'm just like seeing and like have earth, like, water around me. And I think that was like one of the biggest challenges, like coming here, where it's like New York, and it is green, but it's still a concrete jungle.
Right.
So like the environment in terms of having different types of nature, like around, because I draw a lot of inspiration from nature, so I need that.
Right.
You know,
right.
trees. To go and hug a tree. I still do that in New York. When I go to Prospect Park and I hug a tree, and I'm good.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I love that.
You're in tune with nature.
Yeah. But that was like, I think like one thing was definitely the environment. I mean, at school, I guess I came here directly to the new school, and I think like getting inside of the scene and like understanding like how in some ways like culture and things like work differently. In Latvia, I think everything was like very relaxed and like slower pace, and like you come here it's like boom 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 boom, and then adjusting also to the phones, because I didn't took phone to the school, like never ever. Like I took computer for like writing or composing something, but not the phone. And so here I had to like learn, okay, I need the phone everywhere because you have to check emails, you have to like do this, you have to be accountable all the time. So that was like definitely like a changing thing, because everything's happening faster. The life seems to go quite faster.
You being a woman in a very male-dominated industry, behind the scenes and in front of the scenes, how hard and how easy is it, and what do you tell your other contemporaries on how to navigate in this industry?
That's a beautiful question. It's a hard question. I think what has helped me always just staying true to myself and just like being myself, and like whatever the situation is, like being myself, but then also like thinking about if there's a situation, maybe putting myself in other person's shoes to kind of like be more like empathetic in a way, like to see like what's going on, like, and feel like how I would like respond to certain situation. I mean, it's very adventurous to be a leader, and I love it so much because I think I'm very fortunate enough to like work with amazing musicians, and I feel like every single musical like endeavor I've had, I've gained so much, like so many beautiful friendships, and like just in New York it truly like feels like a family to me, and I think that's what I always need. I need to feel like I'm a part of the family, and that's how I also like I choose my musicians around me who know me and who know that we can make that family together. And I think that actually has helped me maybe like navigating some of the crazy stories that other like women leaders are like telling that are hard. And I really have to say that luckily, thank God, I haven't experienced anything like crazy like that. But I think it's also because I've had two amazing musicians that I can trust and that I can build something together.
Arta, what does Black American music mean to you?
Okay, yeah. So this music, I mean, it's a language. It's a source. It's an inspiration, like to many of us, like entering a different folkloric music, and like trying to find a way how to learn it and how to actually appreciate it. and like make how to make it sound so we actually give, not take away. And that's what it is, this music. And it's given me so much, like over the years, the language, like the way how like you, like the way how people play, and it's here. It's music apart.
That'll do it again for this very special edition of the Face Report, recording live here at the first Nomad Jazz Festival here at Madison Square Park here in New York City. I'd like to give a mad shout out to the incomparable Arta Jēkabsone. Please support her upcoming record as well as her upcoming club and tour dates. For more information, please follow her online at artajekabsone.com, as well as follow her on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Also, I have to give a mad thanks and shout out to the festival organizer of the first Nomad Jazz Festival. You guys have done a fantastic job, as well as putting together festivities throughout the entire week and weekend. For more information on the Nomad Jazz Festival, please visit them online at nomadjazzfestival.com. As always, people, I can't stress this more than enough. Please like, share, and subscribe to my videos here on YouTube and Vimeo and leave comments. Remember, if it's in the groove, it may. Till next time.